And this lesson's on writing equations in slope y-intercept form, and by that we mean writing equations in the y equals mx plus b form. And so we're given an equation here, 2x plus y equals 4. And the only way that we can identify the slope in the y-intercept is if we isolate, we need to put it into y equals mx plus b form, and then we're able to identify the slope as the value of m in the equation, and we'll be able to identify the y-intercept as the value of b in the equation. So what we need to do here is to isolate y on the left-hand side of the equation. And so if we write our equation, 2x plus y equals 4, to isolate y to get it by itself, we need to get rid of this 2x. And so what we can do is subtract 2x from both sides, and that'll give us, on the right-hand side, 4 minus 2x. Now this side is going to simplify to be 2x minus 2x is 0, plus y will just be y. And we can rearrange this side of the equation, and we want to put the x term first because that's the way it is in y equals mx plus b. So if we're going to switch these around, this is plus 4 and minus 2x. So we have to write it as y equals negative 2x plus 4. And remember, the sign stays with the term. So therefore, the slope of the line is negative 2, and the y-intercept here is 4. So let's try another question. And here we're given the slope and the y-intercept. We need to find the slope of the y-intercept of 3x minus y minus 6 equals 0. Now, once again, we have to put this into y equals mx plus b form so that we can identify the slope, the m, and the y-intercept, or the b value. So what we're going to do here is, instead of getting rid of the 3x and the minus 6, what we can do is add y to both sides. And the reason we do that is because once we do that, we've got y isolated on one side of the equation, because 0 plus y is y, and over here negative y plus y is 0, so that there's no y term on the left hand side. So we're going to bring the right hand side over to the left hand side of the equation, and vice versa. So this all simplifies to be y equals 3x minus 6. And so now we can identify the slope of the line as 3 and the y-intercept as negative 6. Another example here, 4x minus 5y plus 10 equals 0. And here we are going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to deal with the y term. If we add 5y to both sides, then negative 5y plus 5y is 0. And so we've isolated the y term on the on the right-hand side. We're going to bring the right-hand side over to the left, so we're going to write this as 5y equals 4x plus 10. Now, we have to get rid of this 5. And remember, this is multiplication, so we have to use the opposite operation in order to solve an equation. So what we're going to do is divide both sides by 5. And when we do this, 5 over 5 is 1, so this simplifies to be 1y, or just y. Leave this m as a fraction, so 4 over 5, and plus 10 over 5 reduces to 2. So 5 over 5 is 1y, 4 over 5 x, and 10 over 5 is 2. So that means that the slope of the line is 4 over 5, and the y-intercept is 2. Now, one last question here, and same thing, we're going to have to isolate the y term on one side of the equation. So what we'll do here, since this is plus 6y, we're going to subtract 6y from both sides. And 0 minus 6y is negative 6y, and watch your signs here. And the plus 6y minus 6y simplifies to 0, so we're left with 4x minus 24, which we're bringing over to the right-hand side. And what we have to do now is, this is negative 6 times y, so we have to divide. Since it's multiplication, we have to divide everything on both sides of the equation by the negative 6. And when we do that, negative 6 over negative 6 is 1y. And 4 over negative 6, it simplifies to be negative 2/3 because 4 over 6 reduces to 2 over 3. And minus 24 over negative 6, well, this will be minus a negative, which will be plus positive, and 24 over 6 is 4. So watch your signs when you're simplifying here. If you have minus and negative, remember that's the same as plus a positive. So the slope of the line is negative 2 over 3, and the y-intercept is 4.